everyone, come on in. My name is Deborah. I'm here to review Ready to Love episode 6. Thank you for joining me. If this is your first time joining me, thank you everyone. Thank you for all my regulars that come back every single week and chat with me. I love y'all. Don't forget to hit the like button, and please don't forget to subscribe to my channel as well. It really helps my channel grow. I thank everyone who's been helping my channel grow, and I need more help. I need some more help. So please hit that subscribe button and that like button, and don't forget to drop down in the chats also and have a conversation with me, because oftentimes I say some things that people don't like. Sometimes I say things people do like. But I know right now we all might be on the same page. I think they sent the right people home. It was a double whammy. It was absolutely a curveball by Tommy. But yeah, Jonathan needed to go home. Jonathan was on his 4th or 5th strike. And I was trying to keep Jonathan in the game earlier. I didn't really see nothing. While I don't know, I'm gonna give him a chance. But y'all was right. He never took the opportunity to change his ways. He just stood the same old way, still not releasing no information whatsoever, nothing to say. So I don't know why he came on the show. If you're not going to have any conversation, I don't think you should be on the show. And to be honest with you, I think it's not about being private. It's not about being private. We're going to get to that down in the comments when I start talking about when he was on the date with Rasheena. And Rasheena asked him one of his non-negotiables. He couldn't even come with an answer. Actually, y'all, I think it's more than being private. I think being private is the excuse. I think being private is the excuse. I don't think he's private. I think there's another part where he's not, I don't say he's not capable. He has a deficit. And the being private is, as being private. I don't like to be that private. But telling someone what your non-negotiables are in dating is not something of a privacy matter. So the fact that he couldn't come up with anything in that moment tells me that it's more than privacy. And privacy has all along been the cover up for what is it about Jonathan that he's not able to express himself verbally, period. What is it about Jonathan that he's not comfortable saying what he wants? You see, when they were asking him what his non-negotiables were, it was about expressing what it is you don't want. What do you don't want, Jonathan? And remember, what I have said about Jonathan this whole season is I do believe that Jonathan is a people pleaser. I know a lot of you disagree with me, but I think he is. So the one time he got a question about, well, what do you want, Jonathan? He was tie-tongue. He couldn't come up with nothing. And he said, oh, well, I'm a private person. That doesn't have anything to do with privacy about what your non-negotiable is or what you want for yourself. That has nothing to do with privacy. That tells me, are you in the practice of knowing who you are and knowing what you want, right? Or are you in the practice of always asking questions of other people to see what they like, so then you can turn around and just give them exactly what they want? Jonathan is in the business of trying to please people. I know y'all thought it was convoluted when I said what he did to Alexis when he pulled her over and made her straddle him. I know everyone thought that was icky. I did too. I actually thought it was kind of corny too. But it kind of reminded me of a person who was shooting a Hail Mary. He knew he was losing Alexis, and his Hail Mary to let her know how interested he was in her was to do all this physical contact. And it was a big fail. It was a big flop. And in the end, even Alexis voted to send him home. Even Alexis did. So it was a big fail, but I still believe that was all in an effort to please Alexis in a convoluted, crazy kind of way. I think that's what it was about. Because one thing about Jonathan is Jonathan not only doesn't talk about, people say, I don't like to talk about private things. He doesn't even tell you what he wants, what he's looking for. And that's what a lot of women like. He asks a lot of questions, but he doesn't say anything. And then he's saying, oh, it's all about privacy. No, because that question about what are your non-negotiables, that has nothing to do with privacy. And he couldn't come up with anything, which means Jonathan doesn't spend a lot of time really thinking about what it is that he wants for his life, what type of person would fit in his world, in his life. He doesn't think about it enough. I think it's deeper than he's just secretive and he's holding secrets and he's a liar. I think it's way deeper than that. Hopefully, maybe he'll go on Kojo's channel. Hopefully, please, Kojo, get an interview with Jonathan because I want to hear where this comes from. And I want to see if Kojo can open him up and have him talk and have him reveal a few things, because this is a lot deeper than these clips we've seen here on Ready to Love. It really is. But hey, he went home, Will went home, and Koshia went home. That was the big debate from last week. Who was going to go home? Misha and Koshia. A lot of us thought. I really did think Koshia was going to go home because I thought Koshia's negatives were more than Mika's negatives. And like I said, I thought Mika played the game last week flawlessly. I thought Mika played it. And guess what? Mika's going to last longer, I think, than maybe even Alexis will, because now that Koshia is gone, okay, and now that Will and Jonathan are gone, who's going to vote for Alexis? Remember, Alexis had 2 strong votes from both Jonathan and Will, and now they're both gone. And just like, who was it on there that says, now all we got to do is get rid of the other person, which is Alexis, so they're gunning for Alexis. Let me tell you, this is a part of the show I don't like. First of all, this is Ready to Love, and this has happened in past seasons where people break up couples because they don't like someone in the couple. That's not the point. It's Ready to Love. I really would have wanted to see the journey between Alexis and Will, because it's obvious that Will is Alexis' go-to, her ride or die. It's obvious. That's who her ride or die was for the show. It was who she had the strongest connection with, and I would have loved to see that play out. Doesn't matter that Alexis doesn't have any friends on the show. That's her mistake. She should have had a couple of allies who could help her, a couple of women. And then also, but I would have liked to see that journey. And I don't like that people get eliminated just because someone doesn't like either the woman or the man. And this has happened in seasons before, where couples early on, when couples build a connection early on, people come along and they don't like one of the people for whatever reasons, and then they get rid of them. Well, I don't want a show with a bunch of people who just know how to play the game. I don't want a show with a bunch of people who just know how to play the game. I also want some people who have a strong connection who could possibly make it. So I find it, I don't like the fact that Will went home, right? I like the fact that Jonathan went home because Alexis didn't like Jonathan, but I don't like the fact that Will went home because really it has nothing to do with how I feel about Will. It has to do with, I wanted to see if there was a possibility that Will and Alexis could be a possible match. Now, as I look back, who's gonna vote for Alexis? Yeah, Chaz is running around talking about "Will you be mine?" like it's Valentine's Day, running around here saying the same thing to every single woman. Sure, maybe, but his vote ain't gonna be no good because his vote is for everyone anyway. So I don't like the fact that Will went home, and now more than likely Alexis will probably go home before Mika will. Mika here is to do a job. And Mika's job is going to be here to get rid of Alexis too. That's part of her job. I already told you who Mika is for the season. And there were a couple of people who alluded to it. LaRon alluded to it because LaRon feels that Mika had a hand in he and Koshia's fallout. Because remember, he said on the interview they was thick as thieves, but then something came between them. And he says he believes it was Mika whispering things in her ear about how LaRon liked Maya as well. And I told you what Mika was doing. I think Mika was the first one to actually go on the campaign against Jonathan. I think Mika is the person on the show that people want to say that Alexis is messy. Mika is underhanded. Like I said, she played the game flawlessly last week. I thought she did. And she's turning out to be a crafty player here on this show. She's turning out to be quite crafty, but not in a good way. She was up for elimination with Koshia, and they told her, you giving us homie vibes. Part of it is because she ain't budging on this kids thing. They trying to make her have more kids and try to talk about, well, if you really love someone, you'll have kids. Not when you've been having babies since 18. Mika says, I used to get flued out to LA and sit in the car while men got manis and petties. I used to get flued out on private jets, first class. Then I got pregnant at 18, and then my whole life had to become about my children. I have not had a moment in my life without children. I'm waiting for that. I'm ready for that. I'm ready to get flued out again. If y'all think you're going to get Mika to birth another baby, y'all are foolish. Any man Dominique, anybody who thinks they're going to get Mika to birth another baby because she loves him, it ain't going to happen. She's not going to do it. Not at all. She is not trying to start all over again with a newborn again. Mika's like, I'm trying to get my hot girl summer life back. And a baby ain't included in that. And all you men that already have babies, have enough of them because I'm not pumping out no more. And she's holding firm. She is holding firm. When they sent her home, she basically said it, I ain't changing. She says, if you don't like what I'm dishing out and you don't like what I'm presenting, that's your problem because I ain't changing. But Kashia had one last dig to get in on the men before she walked off the set when they said, okay, you're not ready to love Kashia. She said, these men ain't up to snuff. She said these men aren't up to snuff, but I don't know, ladies. They may not be up to snuff, but I don't know. Who are women that we are completely ride or dying with now? Who are your strong? Let me tell you, Maya redeemed herself, y'all. I'm so happy. I'm so happy because, Maya was my front runner. Then I was all disappointed in Maya. But to come to find out, they were just playing with us. And Maya did end up having a date this week with Justin. And they seemed to get along well. And you know why I know she kind of liked him? Because she looked at him. She actually looked at him. For the first time, Maya looked at the person she was talking to, which tells me I think she really did like Justin. Thank you, Maya. Thank you for making Auntie Deborah feel a little bit better. I know you didn't do it for me. I know you didn't do it for me, girl. But thank you, Maya. I appreciate it. Because like I said, I like Maya. I really have liked Maya. And I just really didn't want Maya to be no gold digger when she was talking about that Barack Obama power couple stuff. I was like, oh, Maya, please don't tell me this is the reason why you still single out here. Please don't tell me that. But Justin clowned her when he found out she also liked William. He's like, William with the 3 kids? Or what for? William might have been a placeholder. I hope William was your placeholder, Maya, until you could meet Justin. I just hope you made an alliance with William so that he could be the one voting for you until you met somebody you really like. Now all I need to do see is Maya on a date with Dominique. I want to see Maya on a date with Dominique, and I want to see Dominique and Justin go head to head with Maya. That's what I want to see. I want to see where the chemistry really lies. We got to see another date with Rasheena. Oh yeah, Rasheena, I like Rasheena too. Rasheena was another person that I said that I liked last week early. All I had really known about Rasheena was like, I like all things beauty, all things beauty. I was like, girl, give me something else. Give me something else. I need some more versatility, Rasheena. Well, she gave it to us this week. She went salsa dancing before she went for a walk in the park with the dog. So thank you, Rasheena. Thank you for giving us some well-roundedness to you, some good conversation. She went out on this salsa date with Justin. Justin had 2 left feet. He couldn't move his hips. I was like, Justin, move your hips a little bit, sway them a little bit side to side. Justin said, I thought we were going out for chips and salsa, not salsa dancing. That was funny. But it was good to see Rasheena and Justin together. But you know what? Justin really changed his tune when he was on the date with Maya. Did you notice when he was down the date with Rasheena and Mika, he was running around talking about, I've come to the conclusion that if I don't have any kids, that might be, my lot in life. And we were like, why, Justin? Why you got to give up on kids? Justin playing the game. Justin is around here making these women believe that he doesn't want any kids. And we were all wondering, why would a man who's only, I don't know how old is Justin, 30, mid-30s, give up on kids so soon? But he was saying that in front of all these women with kids, so he didn't make these women feel bad. He didn't want to be the guy who didn't have any kids to get eliminated by all the women with kids. So you know what? He played the game. He played the game the way he knows to play the game so he could stay on here. Somebody told me down in the comments that Justin is friends with the last curveball from last season, Christopher, the tall Christopher, not Chris Naji, King Naji Christopher from Nigeria, but the tall Christopher that was the curveball last year. We were told that this year the Justin is friends with him. So maybe the curveball last year came in and said, hey man, if you want to stay on here, then you have to do something different because otherwise you're going to get eliminated. So maybe Justin came on here and says, well, I'm not going to make these women eliminate me. I'm going to stay in the game and I'm going to tell them that I may be okay with being a stepdaddy but not having any of my biological children. But you know how you knew it was a whole lie? Because once he met Maya, he lit up. When he met Maya, never married with no kids, Justin was like, I found my tribe. I found my tribe. I found my tribe. You know, you don't get along with everybody all the time, but you can get along for a minute in that group. But once you find your tribe, that's when you come alive. You're like, these are my people. So he found his people in Maya. Maya, no kids, never got married, and he was excited about that. Maya seemed not to have no problems with him being a school teacher. She seemed not to have any problem with it, and that made me happy. That at least she's having a conversation to see if they have anything in common, to see if it's a love match. I like that about them. But this idea that Justin don't want to have any babies, I knew it was a lie. I just didn't know why he was lying to the women. But now we know, because he wanted to stay on the show. That's the thing about this, Ready to Love. Part of it is trying to find love, but part of it is also playing the game, right? You got to do both. And that's one of the things where Alexis has gone wrong. You know what? I might end up doing a card talk video on the type of girl that Alexis is, because a lot of women don't like Alexis. They really don't like Alexis because they believe Alexis is a pick-me. They believe she's not a girl's girl, right? That's what they believe. But I'm going to tell you a little bit, and maybe I'll do a more extensive video on Alexis later on. I would first need to see if Alexis has any girlfriends before I say that the way she is wrong. That's what I have to see. I always have to see, can she make friends with girls? If she doesn't have any girlfriends and she can't get along with girls at all, then there's going to be a problem with that. I'm going to have a problem with that, right? And on this show, what I didn't like about Alexis is that Alexis hasn't seemed to make any bond with any of the ladies, right? Maybe they're not showing it, but she should have made a bond with at least one of the ladies. Now, do I expect her to be friends with all the ladies? No. Because let me tell you something, that would be a problem too. When you're so liked by the ladies, but you're not liked by the men, that's as big of a problem as Alexis being liked by the men and not liked by the ladies. They're both big problems. Because one of the things on the opposite, that's why I'm not all for this, she's not a girl's girl, she's a pick-me. I'm not really in that camp. I see it in the comments, I see it in the chatter around the show. I'm not really in that camp when it comes to dating and when it comes to marriage and relationships, because here's what I'm going to tell you. Here's what I'm telling you. One of the biggest issues in relationships with men to women typically are the women's friends. I'm going to tell you that right now. Is one of the biggest problems sometimes in relationships, that women are too overly influenced by their girlfriends. It's a problem with a lot of husbands. It's a problem with a lot of boyfriends. That's why if you look at a lot of men, they really don't want a woman that has a whole lot of girlfriends, because sometimes those girlfriends overly influence their girlfriend or their wife. And men don't want that. Men don't want women in their marriage or in their relationship. So women think, oh, she's not a girl's girl. Well, that can go too far too. It can really go too far. And I kind of sell that a little bit, like when I look at the chatter around Ready to Love. I think some of the expectations for Alexis to be so wedded to the women, I didn't agree with it. I didn't agree with it at all. I understand the part about the pillow talking. That is a problem, because who wants a girlfriend who's going to pillow talk to her husband all the time? Nope, I don't like that either. So what I think is there's a lack of balance on both sides. I'm not fully liking the balance with Alexis, because I feel like where I really would have been in Alexis's camp if she had a couple of girls on this show that were riding with her. If she had a couple of girls who were riding with her, but even if all the other girls didn't like her, I would be in Alexis's camp. But what I'm not seeing with Alexis is her ability to bond with any of the women, and to me that is a problem. But I'm also not on the other camp of the people calling her a pick-me and she's not a girl's girl. Because being a girl's girl, which means you're more interested in pleasing women all the time, what women want, what women like, how women think, that actually what puts you out of alignment with joining a partnership with a man. It's actually one of the biggest reasons why women stay single. Because sometimes, whether you want to call it a pick-me or a girl's girl, sometimes women are too much of a girl's girl. They're too busy worrying about what women think, what women are going to say, women's feelings, and they're not worrying about their union with this man. They've actually cast aside the man for the women. That's a whole nother discussion. I might talk about that on my card talk video. But in this particular situation, I would say there's a lack of balance on both sides. There's a lack of balance with Alexis, because I haven't seen her make any connections with the women. But I also think there is a little bit extra being put on it by the women because Alexis hasn't tried to connect with any of the women. So I'm in the middle of both camps. I'm not really over here with Alexis over here. I'm kind of in the middle. I really am kind of middle. And you know what? Patrice got it wrong. Patrice said, I know you told Will that it was me who said about sleeping on the floor. And Alexis said, I didn't need to tell him it was you. He went around and deduced it. He did. We saw him, Sherlock, private investigator. He went around and talked to all the women and said, no, he asked me too. And he finally figured out who it was. He spent all his time trying to clear his name, that he ain't broke. So you know what? In a lot of ways, Patrice was wrong about that. That's not what Alexis did. She didn't tell him who said it, but she told him enough that he could go around and ask the questions and figure it out. And maybe that's what they said was wrong. But you know what? She changed up her game. It's interesting. This is another reason why I'm going to call Alexis out in this episode. She changed up her game because all the women kept saying, you're not supposed to say specific people. You're not supposed to say one of the ladies said this. What you're supposed to say are the girls said. The girls feel this way. The ladies feel this way. You're never supposed to say a name, which Alexis never did. But Alexis, you're never ever supposed to say one of the things that was said. You're never supposed to take it back to the men so that they could figure out who said it. So what Alexis didn't do was she didn't craft the messages so that the men couldn't figure out who said it. So, but you notice this week that Alexis was one of the ones that voted for Jonathan to go home. She voted for Jonathan to go home because she didn't like the way that Jonathan pulled her on top of him. She didn't like it. He was on her bottom this week for him to go home. And then they asked Alexis to be the one to tell Jonathan to go home. You notice that. They told Alexis, you be the one to tell Jonathan he's going home. But this time, when she had to tell him he was going home, you know what she didn't tell him? That she was the one that voted for him to go home. In fact, when he sat there and he apologized one more time for what he did, what Alexis said was, don't worry about it. It's all water under the bridge. I think that was the phrase she used. But it wasn't water under the bridge, Alexis, because you actually sent him home over it. So in a lot of ways, when she started talking about this time, she got her language right. She started talking about what the lady said. The lady said, right? The lady said. And this time she was able to hide behind the words of the ladies when in actuality it was also Alexis who was also one of the ones carrying the torch to say, let's get rid of Jonathan. But she didn't reveal that to Jonathan. She let Jonathan believe that it was all the ladies, which it was. So she used the protection of the ladies this time. But the time when she was talking to Will, she threw the ladies under the bus. You hear what I'm saying? So that's why I go back to believe that I'm not for sure Alexis is not necessarily a girl's girl, right? I think Alexis is competitive, period. And I think the way that Alexis is competitive is she will save herself. She will save herself. I don't think it was anything ever about she doesn't like women. She's not a girl's girl. I think Alexis will save herself, period. So I think that what it is even in this moment, she didn't even throw herself under the bus. She sat there and she cried as if she were sad that Jonathan was going home. But she didn't cry, she teared up, when in fact she was the one that sent him home. She said, well, you know, I just don't like having to deliver this bad news, as if she wasn't one of the ones that wanted it. So what I believe is Alexis likes to look good, period. And that means to tell me that it doesn't matter if it's a woman or a man. See, a lot of women think she's not a girl's girl, that she's a pygmisha. I think it's beyond that. I think she doesn't like to look bad at all, period, which means she'll probably do it to a man or a woman. There's a difference. There's a difference. See, you could be thinking she's not a girl's girl and she's a pygmisha over these men. But the thing is, if you're a man, you would also need to be cautious of Alexis. You see, you would also have to watch out for Alexis, because who's Alexis really loyal to? Is Alexis loyal to anyone, or is she just loyal to herself? That little part when she sent Jonathan home and she didn't reveal that she had a problem with what Jonathan did, when she had the moment to really tell a person's name and say who really what was and had a problem with what she did, she didn't reveal that she was the one that had a big problem, which she should have. If you're going to reveal specific things to people, then in this moment, when the specific thing was about you, you need to reveal it. But she didn't. She hid behind the words, the consensus of the ladies, when all the other times she was willing to go out and say, it's not me, it's all the other ladies. That ain't right, Alexis. That tells me that you will save yourself. You will save yourself. But Alexis told us she was competitive. She told us that she was competitive. So it would be very interesting to see what Alexis does. Because think about it. Jonathan is gone. Will is gone. So ideally, you would think the next person that will go home will be Alexis, because who's going to vote for Alexis? But if Alexis is very competitive, as she says, Alexis is going to get her another fish. And who's she working on? Chaz? Is Chaz going to be the next fish of Alexis to reel him in, or rope him in? So now he starts going harder for her than he's going for Vanessa? Because do we really believe that Chaz really wants to date Vanessa with 2 kids? I don't think so. Do you think Chaz wants Vanessa with 2 kids and what? Maybe two ex-husbands, or we know at least one ex-husband, possibly another husband in the background? You think Chaz waited 47 years, y'all? 47. Remember I told you in one of my card talk who are the hardest men to get married? There are men who are over 40 who've never been married, no kids, and they don't want any kids. Have we heard that Chaz even wants children? Has he said it? Has he said it? Do you think he will wait 47 years to join up with Vanessa with young kids? Nope. Nobody does that. Nobody is this cautious in life, wearing rubbers their whole life, making sure they're not getting women pregnant, to all of a sudden get to 47 years old and decide then I'm going to hook up with a lady that has 2 kids by 2 different men and ex-husband. They don't do it. I don't care how beautiful Vanessa is. It's not going to happen. I don't believe it. So now that Alexis is free, Will is gone. The competition is gone. Will is gone. Jonathan is gone. Will Chaz then now turn to Alexis as he said, ooh, I love your pretty hair. I like Alexis. She's unencumbered. Will that become her new ride or die? Alexis is competitive. Let's see who Alexis ropes in. I think the showdown is really, I'm starting to believe that the interesting thing about this season might be the showdown between Mika and Alexis, because Mika is a game player. She's absolutely a game player. And so is Alexis. I want to see how Alexis decides to shift in this game so that she starts to get some protection, because Mika and everybody's coming for her. Mika and everybody want her gone. Will there be any men that come around and protect her? And you know who it might be? It might be Chaz. It might be Chaz, because you know what I know Chaz is lining himself up to be? He's lining himself up to be the protector of women. He's the Captain Sable, whatever. I told you, I mentioned it before. You talk about Days on Music said it right. Is Chaz the new pick-me? Is he the male pick-me version? Since you guys have to call people pick-me's. And you know how I saw it again this week? When Alexis did was, hey, you know what? Were you sad to see Koshia go home? And he said, oh yeah, because she was starting to become vulnerable. Remember, he took up for Koshia with LaRon. And she says, oh, well, I wasn't sad to see her go. I thought that was mean-spirited by Alexis then. That's like taunting. That's like taunting in NFL. That's a penalty. That's a flag. Where's my flag? That's a flag. When you see somebody go down, and then what you do is you stand over them and dance over them on the ground. That's a flag, 15 yards. Taunting. That's what Alexis did to Koshia. It's not about being a girl's girl. Alexis is competitive. She was glad to see her go. And then what she did was, then she appealed to Chaz, who Chaz is the Captain Saver. He tried to save Koshia last week from LaRon. Remember, I told you I saw it the first time that Justin came in. What Chaz didn't like when Justin came in is Chaz was the top dog in his own home. He didn't like another dog coming in his house and possibly some of these female bees going over to that male dog. He didn't like it. That's why he snapped at that dog. to display dominance over that dog. He didn't like when Justin came in his house and was bragging about his grandfather being mayor of some Hobart town. And what Chaz had to do was establish dominance over that man. Just like LaRon talking about, he looks up to Chaz. That's exactly where Chaz wants LaRon. Look up to me, little boy. Look up to me, son, nephew. Look up to me. I'm top dog. Okay. Then he said over here this time, and when Alexis started talking about what Koshia had said and done to her, and she started talking about how she was the victim of Koshia, what did Chaz say? Oh, are you okay? Are you okay? You should have reached out to me. I would have protected you. I would have protected you. What? I thought you was protecting Koshia last week because she was a victim of LaRon. Now you're going to protect Alexis from Koshia? He said, you should have reached out to me. I would have protected you. Oh, Chaz. And you know the reason why he's not going to like Vanessa? Because Vanessa doesn't give any damsel in distress energy. In fact, Vanessa is the opposite. I told this to you about Vanessa. I said, I think Vanessa is somewhat judgmental or something. I don't have all my words right. I'm going to formulate them as I go on. But you talk about, not being a girl's girl or who are you for or whatever. Vanessa not a really overall friendly lady. Let's just say it. Vanessa not overall. If she like you, I think she's friendly with you. But when she doesn't like you, or she doesn't find any value in you, or think you're interesting, or have any level of, she doesn't treat you well. Even when they were sitting at that date with William, right? I felt like she didn't treat William well. Now, I know William was saying, hey, you didn't call me, you ghosted me or whatever else, but she was irritated by it. And yeah, she was correct in the fact that he was texting the wrong number, and they figured that out. But who knows? Maybe she gave him the wrong number. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if she gave William the wrong number. But let's say she didn't. Let's say she gave him the right number. When he said, I was texting you and you weren't responding, she was kind of irritated by it. She wasn't like, what do you mean? Oh, I would have loved to hear from you. When did you text me? Man, I can't believe I mixed your text. Oh, no, let me see. Nah, she was like, for a long time, she didn't even want to look at the number that he was texting. It took her a minute to even say, well, what number were you texting? Because she really didn't care. Because you know what she thought in her head? Yeah, you might have texted me and I might have blown you off because I really don't like you. She don't have no energy for people she don't like. That's why when she was at that dinner with Rasheena, and Rasheena was sandwiched in between William on one side, and she was who was on the other side? Jonathan was on the other side. No. Oh, no. That's when she was on the date with Patrice. And it was Alonzo on one side, and it was William on the other side. And Vanessa felt like she was the third wheel because she don't like nobody here. Girl, you can't have fun on a date being a third wheel. Why can't you have fun? Why can't you engage? So she used, well, it was nothing really for me to talk about or say because none of these men were interested in me. They were all interested in Patrice. And come to find out that's not true. William was interested in her. Like another person using excuses. So she said there was nothing for me to talk about because it was Patrice in between Alonzo and William. And come to find out that wasn't the case. William really was trying to connect with Vanessa. But the reason why Vanessa said she didn't have nothing to talk about, the real reason is because she really didn't have nothing to talk about with them. It had nothing to do with them to her. Vanessa does not treat people well that she does not like. She doesn't. And eventually, more of you guys, you're gonna see it. So when we want to say that Alexis is not a girl's girl, I'm gonna say that Vanessa is not a people's person. She may be a flight attendant, but she's not a people's person. When they were talking about non-negotiables, and Will said one of his non-negotiables had to do around he's gonna work out. Vanessa put that man on the bottom because he likes to work out, and as a result of working out, he's not gonna be able to have enough time for her and all her kids. Really, Vanessa? This is the non-negotiable. You're getting rid of a person of. Let me tell you, William needs to be in the gym. The way he got them hips, he needs to be in the gym. He needs to be in the gym. And you mean to tell me that's one of the non-negotiables you are eliminating a person over because he likes to go to the gym and it doesn't fit in your lifestyle? She's been eliminating a lot of men because what she's saying is her lifestyle, Vanessa's lifestyle, I'm going to tell you what it is being at home every single night with her kids in the house because she's not a people's person. She's probably an introvert at home, and she doesn't want any man that wants to go anywhere but want to be up in the house and do nothing with her. She ain't a people's person. And if your personality is a personality type that likes to go out, you're not a people. You saw when she was over Chaz's house and she got all comfortable on that couch with that blanket. That's what Vanessa likes to do every single night. Every single night. That's what she want to do. Be up on that couch underneath the blanket. She ain't a people's person. Not at all. And I'm okay with a person not being a people's person, but I just don't like the way Vanessa engages or actually disengages, because it's actually not even engaging. I don't like the way that Vanessa disengages in conversation with people when she discovers something about that person that doesn't fit with her. Like she can't find common grounds. It's actually the same thing that she did to her husband when she came on. It's actually what she did to her ex-husband when she first came on the show. I'm very weary of people who are so quick to throw people and toss people away. Very quick. And Vanessa tosses people away very quickly. I didn't like on day one when she came on the show and she tossed away that white ex-husband who's not even here and said, I now need a black man, a Black Panther man. She tossed him away that fast. The father of one of her children, at least at minimum. She tossed him away and she threw him under the bus because she discovered something that that man didn't have, that didn't fit well with her. And you notice it on this show. She tosses people away really fast. And even if she tosses them away, she can't even have gentle and cordial conversation. She did it with Alonzo. Alonzo's goofy. He's immature. He's all these things. But she couldn't find anything to have a conversation with him about. She did it to William. She does it with a lot of people, period. I don't like it. So there may be a little competition between Alexis and Vanessa. I think Alexis may come for Chaz, Vanessa. There might be a little rivalry coming on between Vanessa and Alexis with Chaz. And if I had to put my money on anything, I'm going to say that Alexis can beat out Vanessa. I do. That's what I'm going to say, that in the end, if it comes down between Chaz, Vanessa, and Alexis, and Chaz has to choose between Alexis and Vanessa, I'm going to say it's going to be Alexis because Vanessa doesn't know how to charm. Because Vanessa doesn't know how to talk sweetly. She doesn't know how to pump up a man's ego, which every woman needs to know how to do that. She doesn't know how to do it because Vanessa wants you to pump her up all the time. That's what I believe. I don't know if she's going to have what it takes for what Chaz might be looking for. I'm not for sure. And I don't think that she knows how to go to play the victim, because I think Chaz likes to be the hero. He likes to be the hero in people's lives, even men's lives. He wants to be the hero. And I don't think Vanessa is going to give him an opportunity to be the hero. I haven't seen any part of Vanessa's personality that allows her to be vulnerable to men. Now, as assertive and aggressive as Alexis is, because she's a very strong person, you can tell, one thing about Alexis knows how to do is when she wants to be vulnerable, she knows how to say that. Remember what she said to Chaz? Wherever you want to go and take me, I'm ready. I'm willing and ready to go. There you go. She said, go ahead and lead. But what Vanessa does is Vanessa tells you to lead. I need you to be a leader. That ain't the same thing. That's ordering men around. Learn the difference, ladies. Learn the difference. Vanessa tells a man, like she said before, oh, Chaz, I like you because you sound like the man that doesn't need a lot of attention and pumping up. Remember, she said it last week. I told you she ain't a people's person. She says, you don't seem like a man that needs a lot of edification, a lot of pumping up. That's what I like about you. And I said last week, every man needs that, Vanessa. Vanessa don't want to do no work. She don't want to do no work. So what she's telling you is, I need you to lead. You be the leader. You be the lead. But what Alexis does is Alexis doesn't give Chaz an order. What Alexis does is say, this is the role I will play. Wherever you want to go, I will follow you. And then you know what Chaz does? That puts me in the leadership role. That puts me in the leadership role. That's where I want to be. There is a difference between laying it out and then the man steps in and says, well, I will lead you somewhere, versus a woman that says, I need you to be a leader. Because then when you go around talking about, I need a man to be a leader. See, that's what I'm saying. Women out here talking about, I need a man who's a leader. What's inherent in that is you deciding what a leader is. It's you deciding whether or not, if he's going to the left, you follow him. You'll be the leader. You see, that's the thing what women always mess up. Inherent in telling a man, I need you to lead, is also what you're keeping control over is what leadership looks like. That's why a lot of men will say, I try to lead you, but you don't follow. And the women say, well, you're not leading me to where I want to go. Well, he's not a leader. If you dictate where he's going, then you follow him. That means you're the leader. You're the one that dictate the path. That means he's following you. You're not really following him. When you tell a man, I need to be the leader and I want you to lead me here, then you're the leader. You just told him where to go. He's just the driver, but you're the one actually navigating him. You're the real leader. And that's what Vanessa is. But Alexis, on the other hand, said, wherever you go, I will follow you. And that right there is going to be more appealing than what Vanessa does. It even goes back to when women talk about, they want a man who, pays all the bills, or, not 50-50. And I would always say, well, a lot of men can pay the bills, but are you willing to live underneath the salary of that man? Even LaRon said on his exit interview with Kojo, not exit, but interview, he said he doesn't believe in 50-50. He says, I'm willing to provide for the wife, the woman, but that would mean that you would need to live under the salary of LaRon. LaRon says he's close. He's almost at 150. Maybe he's at 125. That would mean that, he could pay the bills for 125. That means you as a woman need to live up underneath that 125. Because if you want to live under his 125 and your 125 because you want a bigger life, then that's not him leading. But most women will say they want to follow a man, but they actually don't want to follow the man where the man is going. And they don't want to fall up underneath the vision that he has. It's the same thing, Make a Move last year, Ready to Love with Zadia and Cam. She talking about she wanted to lead and she wanted a man who was a leader, but then she was telling the man to move from DC, move from Louisiana, give up his job, his career, his businesses into DC. Well, how can he be a leader in a town where he ain't got no money and no job and no business? But you're established. You would have become the leader. But you said you want a leader. A leader would tell you, no, you follow me. I don't follow you. So that day between Vanessa, Patrice, William, and Alonzo, Vanessa didn't like any of those men. It had nothing to do with those men liking Patrice, because William obviously wanted to make a connection with Vanessa. Because he's thinking, I got 3 boys, you got kids, you don't want any more kids. More than likely, I don't want any kids. We should talk to each other. But she wasn't interested. Not one bit. She did seem to show a little bit of empathy or whatever, or sympathy or interest in William's story about being adopted. And about, how his boys are his first biological connection, how it means so much to him. I think she resonated with that because she has children as well. But it wasn't enough, I don't think, for her to become interested in him. But it actually should have been a bonding moment. It really should have been. But she got her eyes on Chaz. And I think she's going to end up being disappointed in Chaz. Because what I'm seeing about Chaz and what Chaz likes, I don't actually think it's Vanessa. I don't think it's Vanessa at all. They may look good together physically. I think that's what everybody likes. They look good physically together. But personality-wise, I don't see it. Because Chaz needs a lot of pumping up, a lot of ego stroking, and Vanessa don't do none of that. None of it. She getting rid of a whole man because he says he likes to work out and go to the gym and play basketball. And Vanessa's in such good shape. I mean, she really showed out on that yoga day last week. So obviously she does yoga or Pilates, or she stretches. Maybe she does at-home videos. Maybe she's at home doing the videos on YouTube at home. Because you can see she stays in good shape. She stretches, she does yoga. So maybe she's looking for somebody to keep her kids and she's a flight attendant. I don't know. I have no idea what's going on. We finally got to see a little bit more of this day between Mika and Dominique, and Mika playing the game. She know darn well she ain't gonna have no babies for Dominique. And I really don't know what Dominique is doing. I don't know what he's doing, y'all. Has he made a strong push for any woman. He says he's the perfect package. He says he's intelligent, he's got a little street in him, and he's artistic. That's what he said. He said he's a gentleman, he's cultured. Who is he going to go after? I need to see him with Maya. I really want to see him with Maya because I'm thinking, don't you line up with Maya? People keep saying that Dominique is short. Is he short, y'all? I can't tell from the TV. Is that what the problem is with other women? I don't know, but I need to see Dominique with some other women because I want to see who he's going to pair up with. And for some reason, I want to see him and Maya together. I want to see if they have any chemistry. I want to see if there'll be some chemistry between Maya, Justin, and Dominique. I want to see those two go head to head. Dominique said his non-negotiable is a woman that can't cook. Of course, a woman got to cook with 2 to 10 kids because you can't be going out to eat every single day with 2 to 10 kids. And Mika said, I ain't doing none of that no more. I ain't have no babies. I ain't cooking no more. I ain't doing nothing. But serving up this face, let me tell you something. Mika's skin is beautiful. I couldn't stop looking at her. Her skin is beautiful. She is a walking advertisement for her business. Maybe some of it's a lot of good genes, but you also got to chalk up to whatever her face regimen is. And if somebody is in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, they need to go to Mika because the proof is in the pudding. Her skin is beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. But I think the right people went home, Jonathan and Will, on that last date that they both had with Rasheena. Neither one of them was interested in Rasheena. They didn't like Rasheena. And I'm telling you, a couple of Rasheena's answers. I told you I'm not been a big fan of Rasheena's answers on dates. I think I like her. I do like her, but her answers aren't good on dates. I told you that before. I didn't like the answer all things girly. I didn't like that answer. I thought that it doesn't leave you open to finding things in common. All things girly. Then she had this other date with Will, and Will was asking her something about, I guess they were talking about their past relationships or something, and Rasheena was like, yeah, I went through my hot girl summer. And he was like, oh, how long ago was that? And I think Rasheena said something about a year ago. That's too close, Rasheena. Hot girl summer, basically a hot girl summer is like you run around a hoeing in the streets. So to say it was a year ago, girl, don't say that. Say it was, first of all, don't even mention it. It actually doesn't just need to be said. Let me not even say when you should say it happened. You actually don't need to mention it. I really wish women would stop revealing so much of their sexual history to men. And hot girl summer references sex. Now, even though it could be that, oh, she didn't have sex with the man, she just went out on dates and whatever, had fun. That's good. But the connotation of hot girl summer also has a sexual connotation. And I think women need to start staying away from phrases, conversations, anything that insinuates that they were in the streets sleeping with or whatever with a lot of men. I just think they need to stop it. It's so much other conversation to have. Stay away from phrases like hot girl summer, one night stands, situationships. Stop putting yourself in this light that you were indiscriminate or you were not careful on what you did with yourself, your body, or whatever when it came to men. Stop painting that picture for men. It's no reason for it. Even if you disagree that, oh, nothing, it's still no reason for it. Keep it to yourself. Use phrases like hot girl summer for your girlfriend. It's not conversation to have in front of men. And I don't want to hear about what doesn't matter because she wasn't interested in Will. Don't have it, period. Don't have it, period, because just like we know people talk, he could go around and talk, oh yeah, you know, Rasheena was going through hot girl summer last year. Just don't say it. You don't need to say it. You don't need to reveal that about yourself. To men, you just don't. So I do believe that in a lot of ways, you know, when I talk about when they were saying people like Alexa's not a girl's girl, I think a lot of women are such girls. They have conversations with men like they're talking to their girlfriends. And that's a problem. They talk to men like they're talking to their girlfriends, and it's not the same conversation. And so a lot of women call that, oh, you're not a girl's girl. I don't have the same conversation with men that I have with women. I don't have the same exact conversations. There needs to be a difference in conversation. And this idea that I could just go through life and talk to men the same way I talk to women is not true. You can do it, but you don't get the same response. You don't get the same response. Words that come out of your mouth sound different, look different to men versus women. Get used to it. Instead of keep hoping that one day men will start looking at you, the words you choose, the same way women will. No, it's not going to happen. You need to have different conversation. You need to learn what not to say, what not to do in front of men. You absolutely need to learn how to do that and have another type of personality. That's what it's about, going out with your girls, letting loose. Because you're with your girls. You don't do that with men. Hot girl summer. Don't ever mention to no man you were in a hot girl summer or you went through a hot girl summer. No. Save that for your girlfriends over mimosas and brunch. Because we'll see who goes home next week. A woman has to go home next week. And I'm going to tell you, it could be Rasheena. Because who's voting for Rasheena? Who's got Rasheena on their top? You see, Mika can still get a vote from Justin. And she can still get a vote for Dominique. Alexis can get a vote from Chaz. We'll see who else Alexis can rope in this next week to vote for her. I know LaRon's going to be gunning for her because you got rid of Koshia. But who's going to vote for Rasheena? Who's going to ride or die for Rasheena? She could be up for elimination next week because she is giving, I talk to men like I talk to girls. And men aren't connecting with that. Men are not connecting with I like all things girly and hot girl summer. That's girl conversation. And Rashena's having girl conversation with men. That ain't going to go over well. That's not going to go over well. But anyway, that's it, y'all. Let me know what you think down in the comments, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.